The Catholic Church's preservation of Latin is a multifaceted phenomenon rooted in historical, cultural, and theological considerations. This decision, which has significantly shaped the Church's identity and practices, can be understood through an exploration of several key factors. Firstly, historical continuity plays a crucial role in understanding why the Catholic Church preserved Latin. As the Church emerged within the Roman Empire, Latin was the dominant language of administration and daily life. The early Church naturally adopted Latin for its liturgical and administrative functions, aligning itself with the linguistic and cultural context of the time. By maintaining Latin, the Church established a direct link to its historical origins, emphasizing its long-standing presence and unbroken tradition since its inception. Moreover, Latin provided a sense of universality and unity within the diverse and geographically widespread Catholic Church. The use of a common liturgical language transcended regional and national boundaries, fostering a sense of collective identity among the faithful. Clergy from different regions could communicate and perform religious services uniformly, ensuring consistency in worship and doctrine. This linguistic unity was particularly significant during periods of political fragmentation and cultural diversity in Europe, where Latin acted as a unifying thread binding the Church together. As a dead language, one no longer evolving or subject to change, Latin provided a stable and unchanging medium for liturgy and doctrine. Theological concepts and liturgical texts could be preserved in their exact meanings over centuries, reducing the risk of misinterpretation or alteration. This linguistic stability was especially important for maintaining doctrinal consistency and ensuring that the teachings of the Church remained faithful to their original formulations. In addition to its role in liturgy and doctrine, Latin was the language of scholarship and education in medieval Europe. The clergy, often among the most educated individuals in society, were trained in Latin, which was the lingua franca of intellectual and academic pursuits. Latin enabled the clergy to engage with theological, philosophical, and scientific works from various regions and times, facilitating a rich exchange of ideas and knowledge. The Church's preservation of Latin thus ensured that its clergy remained well-versed in the broader intellectual currents of their time, contributing to the Church's role as a custodian of learning and culture. Finally, the ancient and sacred nature of Latin set liturgical rites apart from everyday speech, enhancing the sense of the divine and the holy. This sense of mystery and reverence was central to the worship experience, drawing the faithful into a deeper sense of awe and spiritual reflection. The continuity of Latin in the liturgy reinforced the timeless and transcendent nature of the Church's worship, connecting believers to the sacred traditions of the past. The Church still uses Latin today, primarily in specific contexts. The traditional Latin Mass, celebrated in Latin, continues in some places, despite the Second Vatican Council's allowance for vernacular languages. Papal encyclicals and Vatican decrees are often issued in Latin, serving as the authoritative versions. Gregorian chant and traditional liturgical music frequently use Latin, preserving many hymns and prayers in their original forms. Latin is taught in seminaries and used in theological studies to understand historical church texts, and some official church correspondence, particularly within the Vatican, is conducted in Latin. While its everyday use has diminished since the Second Vatican Council, Latin remains a significant part of the Catholic Church's heritage and practice.